Calaroga Shark Media.
From Washington, D.C., where, oops, we dropped a fighter jet in the ocean, this is Ballot.
Oh man, I'd hate to explain to the Admiral what happened this time. I'm Patrick Gutfield, and House Democrats have decided that trying to impeach Trump right now is about as practical as trying to catch smoke with a butterfly net. Democratic Caucus Chair Pete Aguilar rejected the impeachment efforts brewing among some of his colleagues, basically saying, "We'd love to, but what's the point?" Aguilar didn't exactly claim Trump hasn't done anything impeachable in his first 100 days. He just pointed out the obvious political reality. This president is no stranger to that. He's been impeached twice, Aguilar told reporters. But we don't have any confidence that House and Senate Republicans would do their jobs. Meanwhile, Representative Shri Thanadar from Michigan has already filed 7 articles of impeachment against Trump, including charges about wrongfully deporting a Maryland man to El Salvador. That's like bringing a water gun to a tank battle, technically a weapon, but not likely to make an impact. Representative Al Green from Texas is also planning to file impeachment articles at some point. Perhaps they should coordinate their calendars. Impeachment Tuesdays has a nice ring to it. Some liberals have been complaining that Democrats haven't been aggressive enough in fighting Trump. Democratic leaders disagree, pointing to their busy schedule of field hearings, rallies, sit-ins, and town halls. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries promised they're going to continue to show up, stand up, and speak up in a variety of ways. So many verbs, so little actual power. Instead of impeachment, Aguilar says Democrats will focus on highlighting unpopular Trump policies like Medicaid cuts and tax breaks for the wealthy. Because nothing stops a president like strongly worded press releases about his legislative agenda. Those are the items that the American public is paying attention to, Aguilar insisted. And if there's one thing we know about American politics, it's that public attention always translates directly into meaningful change. Just ask all those previous presidents who were stopped by the power of negative polling. Senator Josh Hawley has introduced a bill that would prevent members of Congress from playing the stock market like they're all Warren Buffett with a security clearance. The wonderfully titled Preventing Elected Leaders from Owning Securities and Investments Act, or PELOSI Act, would ban lawmakers and their spouses from holding or trading individual stocks while in office. The Missouri Republican announced he's reintroducing this legislation after President Trump said he'd sign such a bill if it reached his desk. Nothing motivates Congress like presidential attention and an acronym that subtly trolls a former speaker. Senator Hawley declared, members of Congress should be fighting for the people they were elected to serve, not day trading at the expense of their constituents. He added that Americans have seen politician after politician turn a profit using information not available to the general public, which is a polite way of saying insider trading, but make it congressional. The bill would still allow lawmakers to invest in diversified mutual funds, exchange-traded funds, or U.S. Treasury bonds. So they can still be rich, just not suspiciously rich in specific companies they regulate. Current members would have 180 days to comply, as would newly elected lawmakers after taking office. Those who refuse would forfeit any stock profits to the Treasury and face penalties from ethics committees. This might be the rare bill that both parties could support. Democrats who want to look like they're fighting corruption, and Republicans who want to stick it to Nancy Pelosi. When your bill's name is basically a political burn, that's how you know democracy is working exactly as intended. An FA-18 Super Hornet fighter jet fell off the USS Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier while being towed around the hangar bay. Talk about the world's most expensive game of oops, I dropped something. The Navy said the crew lost control of the aircraft while towing it. Lost control. That's military speak for someone hit the wrong button and $60 million went swimming. The crew members in the pilot's seat and on the towing tractor both jumped out before taking an unscheduled dip in the Red Sea. One sailor suffered a minor injury, which I assume was a sprained ego. Can you imagine that conversation back at base? So, where's the jet? Funny story, sir. Remember how you said not to lose any expensive military equipment? Well, the USS Truman has been deployed to the Middle East for months, conducting strikes against the Houthi rebels in Yemen. I'm guessing this wasn't the kind of strike they had in mind, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth already extended their deployment once. I bet that sailor is hoping this doesn't earn them another extension. You can come home when you find that $60 million jet you dropped in the ocean. The incident is under investigation, which means some poor naval officer is filling out the world's most awkward paperwork. Reason for equipment loss: gravity, ocean, Monday. The best part? The Navy's statement just casually mentions the aircraft and tow tractor were lost overboard. Like they misplaced their car keys instead of an entire fighter jet. Portions of today's program were made with the help of Admiral Hawley, Jet, Band on the Run, and AI.
In Washington, D.C., power flows through information. But what happens when the most sensitive military intelligence in the world ends up on the wrong phone? In the halls of power, a national security advisor makes a fatal miscalculation. On the other side of the world, a special forces team walks into a perfectly orchestrated trap. When the dust settles, 4 American soldiers are dead, 3 more captured. And the most catastrophic intelligence breach in modern history is just beginning to unravel. Signal Lost, a 6-part podcast thriller about betrayal, courage, and the devastating consequences of a world where even our most guarded communications are never truly secure. When everyone is listening, nowhere is safe. Signal Lost. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
As the world mourns Pope Francis, history's most secretive transfer of power begins. White Smoke, the path to a new pope, guides you through this momentous transition. We explain exactly what happens next, leading to the dramatic conclave vote. Learn how each ritual unfolds, what each tradition means, and why these ancient ceremonies still matter today. Follow along as the throne of St. Peter stands empty and a new chapter in church history begins. White Smoke, available wherever you get your podcasts.